me, John. Please, I do not want to mention anybody's name, but if you are not in that appropriate details, please do so quickly as we move forward. Once again, good evening. Okay, this is 14 minutes. No. I'm trying to wait a few minutes for those who have not done the proper things for us to catch up. Okay, awesome. But before we start tonight's section, I would want us to remind ourselves of some things we've been taught in the academy. Sorry, I happens to be a trained teacher, so if I ask questions during classes, it is what I'm expected to do as my profession. So please bear with me. It is just a way to be sure those who are taking classes understood what we taught them. So in a twinkle of an eye, quickly, in the income message, this is what I need you to do for me. According to the theme of this cohort, which is consciousness and connected. So the simple task is this: in the income message, what you need to do is, okay, what are those things? You can just list them, not necessarily note, maybe in sentence, or if there's a word I can use to describe all of them. And the task is, what are the new things that you are aware of? Maybe there are some things you've been doing carelessly, but now you now have the consciousness that it is the right thing for you to do from this academy. So the question, let me repeat the question again. There are many things you might have been done. There are many things you might have been doing, and you just do it with a careless attitude, like you don't care, you are not really concerned. But now, from this academy, from the classes you've had, you've gained a consciousness that, oh, these are the things I should be doing for the environment. So any of them, one, two, just list it in the income message as I read your submission. Can be if there's a word for you to take all of them, yes, please do. Then if it is a sentence, you can just do that. I'm there in the income message waiting for your reply. Those things that you got from this academy that, oh, I should be conscious of this action henceforth. I am waiting for us. I can't see any reply. Hope you got. Can anyone hear me? I believe I'm not talking to myself. Okay, someone said, Gloria said, each of my footprints has significantly effect on the plants. It's sustainable in engaging in upcycling. Okay, that's it. That's a nice consciousness. That's a nice one. Okay, we have reducing the use of single-use plastic. Okay, yeah. Okay, so if you can hear me, please answer my question in the income message. What are those things that you get to learn from this academy? And these are the things you've been doing before, but you are not doing it the right way. Now you have the idea, the knowledge that, oh, this is what I'm expected to do to support the environment. Those are the things I ask you to list. Might be one, might be two. Please, I'm waiting. Reduce the use of single-use plastic. Awesome. Recycling. Awesome. Recycling. Okay. YouTube link. Okay. For those that are waiting for the YouTube link, we'll send it to the group very soon. But please, for those that are here, let's engage and let's know. Okay, learned about carbon footprints and the effect to the environment. Oh, that's nice. I got to know that no matter how small and insignificant I think my actions are, they have a big effect on the environment. A nice lesson. No matter how small or insignificant you think your actions are, they have a big effect on the environment. That's nice. Reduce food wastage. Especially in this economy, reduce food wastage. I think that's that's a very nice lesson. Reduce food wastage. Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you. That's an awesome submission. So let's just take a pause from there. Let's take a pause from there. So tonight we have one of us here in our midst. He is one of us. If I mean one of us, yes, I mean he. Okay, yeah. Okay, let's continue. Sorry about that. Yes, he's the program manager for Plugin Nigeria, and he just have to be here very shortly to deliver his message. So without wasting much of our time, I would put him on the mic very soon, and his name is Plugger Chris Inkechi, also known as Plugger I. So in the income message, please let's welcome him with our clapping emoji to show that we are ready for the class. And Plugger I, please, you can take up the stage now. Over to you. Thank you very much.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Anu, for the opportunity, and of course, I'm happy to be here today. So, just give me a second. Let me get my slide up. I'm trying to share my screen. So, our dear lovely participants, how have you been? I hope you've been enjoying the academy so far. It's been a few days, and I trust that by now, most of you would have learned a lot from the academy. And I'm looking forward also to sharing this moment from you, from every one of you here, right? So I'm still trying to share my screen. Let me get that done very quickly so that we can start. Um, once you can see my screen, you can just help me confirm. You can see.
Yes, we have it on now.
All right. Thank you. So today we'll be talking about
Yes,
understanding
we can
climate
see.
change.
We can see.
All right. Today we'll be talking about understanding climate change and taking action. Of course, my name is Ikechi Chris, and like I said before, I'm happy to be here to listen to you guys, to talk with you guys, to have this conversation, and of course, also learn from you guys. So without wasting so much time, we'll just dive into it. So what is climate? What is the climate and what is weather? So in summary, climate represents the long-term average weather pattern over an extended period, reflecting the overall climate characteristics of a region. On the other hand, weather refers to the short-term and immediate atmospheric condition observed at a particular moment or over a relatively brief period. So from this short definition, we can understand that climate and weather are very similar, and the most distinct difference between both is time, the amount of time involved, right? So I'm sure if I ask you to define climate, you have maybe a slightly different definition to what I have here, but at the end of the day, we can all agree that we are talking about the same thing, right? So moving on, um, so climate refers to the long-term average weather pattern and condition of a specific region over a period of time. We've established that. So now the next thing is, what is climate change, right? So climate change is a change in the average temperature and cycles of weather over a long period of time. So basically, we've talked about what climate is. Now we're talking about what climate change is. So it is, if you understood what climate is, it is easier to understand what climate change is because it is well self-explanatory. So since 1880, scientists have kept thermometer-based records of global surface temperature. Now, the question is, what is happening to the global temperature? Basically, the planet is becoming warmer, and that means the climate is changing. So if you look to your left, to your right, you will see a graph that shows um, is a plot of climate temperature anomaly over time. So we have 1880 to 2016, and you can see the spike from 1936. We started having that anomaly, and it keeps going on and on and on. So the climate is changing. So I will say a disclaimer here before we continue. This session is a bit scientific. You have to really listen to understand. And of course, once you understand the basics, it will help you to understand some of the things we'll discuss as we move further. So why is the climate changing? And why is climate change a problem? Over a million years, species become adapted to survive in conditions which they live. A stable climate supports this process and allows living things to thrive. If climate changes quickly, organisms don't have enough time to adapt to new conditions and may no longer be able to survive. So this is why it's straightforward. Evolution takes time, right? Adaptation takes time. And organisms are well accustomed to their surroundings, they're well accustomed to the environment they live in. So when climate change causes this environment to change at a rapid pace, then they can adapt. You find out that these these organisms have a problem, and some of them run into extinction as a result of it. So this is one of the reasons why climate change is a problem. Another reason climate change is a problem is because climate change disrupts weather patterns and causes extreme weather events to become more common. These include hurricane activity, droughts, flood. As the global temperature has increased, so has the number of reported natural disasters. It is correlated. It is very much correlated. If you look at the graph, right, if you have any understanding of data, you understand that you see that there is a simple correlation with between the number of reported natural disasters and time. So from 1900 to 2020, you see there's a spike and it keeps going up and up. And this is a result of climate change. So when the climate change and the weather patterns are disrupted, extreme weather conditions become more common. Moving real fast to the next slide, still on the why climate change is a problem, looking at the rising temperature, which is causing sea levels to increase. The rising water can cover coastal areas, destroying habitats, displacing whole populations from low-lying areas. This is a problem we have in Nigeria and in the world at large. In Africa, all over the world, they are in the Europe and the Americas, a problem of rising sea level. So because the climate is changing, factor in a couple of other different issues that are triggered by climate change. The sea level tends to rise. And what happens when the sea level tends to rise? There's an overflow and lowlands are covered as a result. So we still have a graph here that shows clear correlation between sea level change and time. So since 1900 to 2020, it is almost a direct correlation. As you can see from the graph on the right side of your screen, right? So rising sea levels are driven by two main processes, ice melt and thermal expansion. So for ice melting, when the atmosphere and ocean get warmer, ice sheets and glaciers melt, resulting in addition of fresh water to the ocean. So there are ice sheets, there are glaciers, those are like water in the form of ice, right? And when the climate change changing at this rate, these ice bodies melt down, and what happens? They turn to water, and the water does not exist in a vacuum. It has to find its way to the oceans, and the ocean's level rise, right? Now, thermal expansion, as the ocean water gets warmer, as the ocean water gets warmer, it expands, causing sea level. So if you did any form of chemistry in your days in secondary school, you will know that when water gets warmer, it expands. So that is one of the reasons why climate change is a problem. And that reason is the increase in global temperature is causing a reduction in sea ice. This problem causes problems for animals that depend on the ice to hunt, mate, and sleep. So we know a lot about the polar bear and how it's facing all sorts of issues because of the loss of ice due to climate change, right? So this is another reason why it's a problem. So now, why is climate change a problem? The bright surface of the ice reflects 80% of sunlight that hits it back into the space. This keeps the polar region cool and moderate the global and moderates the global climate. When the area of sea ice is reduced, less sunlight is reflected back into space. This causes more ocean warming and reduces the sea ice even further. So we've talked about the reduction in sea ice, and this is a phenomenon that actually facilitates that process. So this feedback drives faster climate change. The orange line on the picture to your right marks the average minimum sea ice coverage from 1981 to 2010. The white ice shows the minimal sea ice coverage in 2020. The difference between the two exceeds 1 million miles. So the difference exceeds 1 million miles. You need to just try to imagine this. A loss of ice sheets of over 1 million miles. That is, you can't even try to imagine it. It's basically unfathomable, right? So these are the reasons, these are the issues, and these are reasons why climate change is a big problem. Now, another reason why climate change is a problem is no matter how fast we act, the global temperature is set to continue rising as a result of greenhouse gases that are already in the atmosphere. So the problem that we are already experiencing are going to worsen. Acting quickly keeps the temperature rise to minimum is extremely important for humans and wildlife, right? So this this is telling us that the damage is already done to an extent, and we already have these gases in the atmosphere. So no matter what we do, these changes will continue. So imagine what will now happen when we don't do anything, right? So we need to do something. So how much difference do you think a zero point 0.5 Celsius degree in global temperature can make? How much? You can tell me in the chat. So still on the reasons why climate change is a problem, coral bleaching, species loss, drought, rise in sea level. We talked about rise in sea level. We touched on species loss. Drought is a very big problem, and it's a problem that can be traced back to climate change. So when the climate is changing, there is anomaly in weather patterns, which includes drought. Drought is an anomaly in weather patterns. There are certain time of the year when we expect rain to come down, and when it doesn't come, that's when we experience drought, and it's a problem. So coral bleaching has to do with the fact that because of climate change, we are losing some of the plants, right? Some of the plants that you find underwater that help to keep the ecosystem in the ocean stable. We lose some of these plants, right? If you want to read more about coral bleaching, you can just go to the website that is tagged on the image that was used. So I'm trying to move as fast as possible. So what causes climate change? The the reason why we have climate change is very straightforward, but it's scientific. So I'll try to make it as simple as possible. So you just have to pay attention, right? Please let me know you can still hear me. All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Miriam. Thank you, Christopher. Thank you, Amadi, Daniel. Yeah, so I'll continue then. So what causes climate change? Carbon dioxide, that's CO2, methane CH4, and water vapor H2O are greenhouse gases. They are found in the atmosphere. Energy travels from the sun to the earth as short-wave radiation. It does not interact strongly with the greenhouse gas molecules, so it reaches the earth's surface. So when the sun releases its energy, it travels down to us. It doesn't interact with the greenhouse gases, right? And we mentioned the greenhouse gases already. Now, the next stage is the Earth's surface emits wavelength, long wavelength radiation. This does interact with the greenhouse gas molecules. The greenhouse gas molecules absorb some of the energy, trapping it in the atmosphere. This process keeps the Earth warm and is essential for life. I know that most of us here, even if you did not do science in school, you did somehow get to the point where you understand that there are specific reasons why the earth is in a very great position to support life. And here is the reason. The process of the interaction between the earth's surface and the sun makes it possible for um, this greenhouse gases to absorb the energy and trap it in the atmosphere, which we most of us call the ozone layer or whatever you might call it. So this process is what keeps the earth warm and essential for life to exist on earth, right? So the higher the proportion of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, the more radiation is absorbed. This causes a rise in the temperature of the earth and is known as the greenhouse effect. This increases temperature. This increase in temperature drives climate change. So this is how climate change happens. So when the greenhouse gases is absorbed more, when this radiation is absorbed more, it now becomes a problem. The absorption of the radiation is essential for life, right? But when the absorption of the radiation begins to increase to a point, it becomes a problem. Go back to the whole too much of everything is not good that we usually say. So when this happens, it forces the climate to become warmer at a faster pace, right? Which is what we call climate change. So still on what causes climate change, although natural processes can cause climate change, there there is an understanding that sudden large events also have effect on climate change. So massive meteoric strike or volcanic activities can cause climate change. So we've talked about some of these issues that can cause climate change, but there are about three main human activities that contribute more to climate change than most others. So that includes burning of fossil fuels, deforestation, and reduction of biodiversity. So burning of fossil fuel for heating and cooking, generating electricity, and powering vehicles releases carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Remember, carbon dioxide is one of the elements that needs to be in place for climate change to happen, right? Deforestation, destruction of forests releases carbon dioxide and reduces the number of trees able to capture carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. So deforestation causes climate change in two ways. First of all, it releases more carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, and then it reduces the number of trees. Humans breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide, and it's scientifically proven that trees absorb or breathe in carbon dioxide. and then give us subsidy in return, right? So this um, phenomenon that I just described, when we have a reduction in number of trees, becomes impossible. So of this um, more of this carbon dioxide is released into the atmosphere and left uncaptured. So reduction in biodiversity creates an unstable ecosystem. Natural loss leads to ecosystems that are less able to capture carbon from the atmosphere and less resilient to resist temperature. So loss in reduction in biodiversity basically means that there is a problem, there is a deficiency in the ecosystem. When there is a deficiency in the ecosystem, the cycle of life is breached, right? There is a process when hear about the process of life. Man eats this one eats this one, that one eats this one, and the cycle continues. So when one of those organisms that is supposed to eat one of those things is no longer there, there is a breach, and this contributes to um, climate change, right? So who causes climate change? The 15 least developed countries are thought to have contributed 1% of the greenhouse gases that have caused global warming. The US, the EU, and China around 60%. Around 60%. So this 60% now between Europe, Asia, and North America, and then the rest of the world sharing less than 40%. So who does climate change affect? In the long term, everyone will feel the effect of climate change. However, some people are currently more affected than others. In most cases, the wealth of prosperous countries come, have come from activities which contribute to greenhouse gas emission, right? I'm getting Hobart, who is interrupting us. Okay, so poorer countries are less able to adapt to climate change and therefore suffer the most from its effect. They are also less able to develop because they need to focus on addressing the challenges caused by climate change. So you see, the people that causes climate change the most suffer the least, and this is a problem. So the countries who have contributed the least to climate crisis are the ones who are affected the most. Is this fair? So that question is left for you to um, think over. So now, who can fix climate change? Who can do that for us? So we have the government, we have the corporate organizations, and we have ourselves. So um, the government can make laws and policies that reduce the amount of greenhouse gas emissions. Corporate organizations can make conscious effort to combat climate change by making sure all aspects, levels of decision making within the organization and other external spheres of influence has environmental favorable considered. You understand? It has the environment at heart. So the policies of the organizations needs to take into account the effect of their decisions on the environment. So now we can also use our voice to let businesses and government know that we want them to act quickly to reduce the impact of climate change. So this is why you are important. So the theme of our the GSA is tech inclined, and of course, technology is one of the best ways to solve problems in the world all over right now. So we're looking at technological solutions for mitigating climate change. First technology we're looking at is the blockchain technology. It has the potential to contribute to mitigating climate change in several ways. One of them is carbon footprint tracking, emission trading, renewable energy certificates, that's RECs, supply chain transparency, energy grid management, climate finance, and funding. So these are some of the ways that blockchain technology can help us track climate change. So it's worth noting that while blockchain technology has similar potential, it also faces challenges such as scalability, energy consumption, which again brings us back to climate change, right? And regulatory framework. However, with further development and adoption, blockchain can become a valuable tool in mitigating climate change and promoting sustainability, right? Um, I'll not go into details to talk about each of these subtopics because we don't have much time, but you can always read up on any of them. Carbon footprint tracking, emission trading, renewable energy certificates, supply chain transparency, emergency grid management, climate finance, and funding, right? So the next technology we'll be looking at is the cloud technology and web services. This can contribute to mitigating climate change in several ways, which include um, virtualization and remote work, digitalization of services, energy efficiency, data analytics and optimization, sustainability awareness and education, carbon footprint again, calculation tools, collaboration and knowledge sharing. So it's essential for all developers to adopt sustainable practices themselves, such as using greenhouse hosting providers, optimizing server infrastructure, and adopting clean coding practices by incorporating sustainability practices into their web development processes. Developers can make a meaningful contribution to mitigate climate change and building a more environmentally conscious digital ecosystem. Like I said, I don't have all the time, so I might not really go into details about all this that I listed here. But I would like you guys, anyone you think you need to know more about, you can just look them up through the internet. There is knowledge everywhere now, right? And you get the information you need. And of course, this slide will be made available to you, so you can always read up. So the next technology we're looking at is data science and AI. AI is the biggest thing now, right? Here are several ways in which data science can contribute to climate change mitigation, climate and modeling and prediction, renewable energy integration, energy efficiency, smart grid optimization, emission monitoring and management, carbon footprint analysis, sustainable agriculture and land use, climate risk assessments and adoption. So these all these 8 things that I listed here are ways that data science and AI can help us to combat climate change. So data science is a powerful tool in understanding, mitigating, and adapting to climate change by leveraging data-driven approaches, predictive modeling, and advanced analytics. Data scientists can support evidence-based decision-making, optimize resource allocation, and contribute to a more sustainable and resilient future. So it is very quite understandable that if we had data that predicted, let's say 100 days ago that or 200 years ago that we'll eventually have issues of climate change, I'm sure we would have started early enough to start making plans for this, right? But we did not. But now we have this data, we have AI, we have data science. It is time to put them to use and leverage them for a brighter and better, more sustainable future. The next technology solution for mitigating climate change is the Internet of Things, or IoT for short. And here are several ways that it can help climate change mitigation: energy management and efficiency, smart grid optimization, environmental monitoring and conservation, precision agriculture, smart transportation and logistics, waste management and recycling, forest fire detection and prevention. So in summary, the IoT has immense potential, like it has unlimited potential to mitigate climate change by optimizing energy usage, enhancing environmental monitoring and conservation efforts, promoting sustainable agriculture, improving transportation efficiency, optimizing waste management, and enhancing forest fire prevention. By leveraging the power of connected devices and real-time data, the IoT enables smarter and more sustainable practice across various sectors, making significant contribution to climate change mitigation. Now, the example I like using of how IoT can be so much effective in combating climate change is waste management. So when you have waste management from our offices, for example, if you have a smart waste bin that is able to give you a signal on your phone that, oh, bro, I'm full, you need to come and take trash out, right? That is IoT. if you have a waste bin that is smart enough to know that I only take plastic waste. So if you put in paper, I give you a signal that no, this is not right. You have to do the right thing, right? So these are ways that IoT can directly influence waste management, which directly contributes to influences climate change, right? So now going to the larger scale, imagine those trucks that come to pick trash in your area during the evenings. Imagine they don't have to come just for coming sake, that they can sit in their office and they get a signal and the trash um, bin in Ogomosho tells them that, oh, bro, I'm full. You can now come and take me out. And they just drive down street and pick up that particular one instead of having to go from street to street and hoping to find trash when there is none. And remember, when they are doing this patrol, they are burning fuel, CO2 is getting into the environment, and we're still contributing to climate change. So if they can just go straight and pick up the particular one that is full, it means that they burn less fuel, right? So in that regard alone, IoT is already contributing to the reduction in the emission of the CO2 gas that we talked about. So new opportunities, the transition to a low carbon country in the years ahead brings with it many opportunities. Innovation is a process of turning an idea into a solution that solves a problem. Transitioning to low carbon economy will provide lots of opportunity for innovation. There will be a need for people leaving education to do things differently, to come up with new ideas for products and technologies, and to explore new conservation methods. These opportunities are exciting. New job sectors will be created and new skills will be valued in the job market. The future, you may be applying for a job that didn't even exist yet, right? So there is an opportunity here. There's an opportunity to create jobs. There's an opportunity to create solutions, right? So these opportunities remain untapped, and we hope that in the near future they will be tapped. And I believe and I hope that some of us listening to me here tonight will be one of the people that will take advantage of these opportunities to innovate. So looking at this, the next thing is the sustainable development goals. So in the same year that the Paris Agreement was signed, 17 sustainable development goals, SDGs, were adopted by all United Nations member states. 17 goals set out all the things that needs to be achieved, protect the planet, and ensure that all people enjoy peace and prosperity. So all the 17 goals have different missions and have different intentions. And when you look at the 17 goals, you find out that if we achieve all these 17 goals, we have a world that is almost perfect for us and the next generation. So some of the goals are to do with the state of our planet. However, one of the most important things about the SDG is the fact that they are all connected. All the goals needs to be realized together for us to achieve a future in which every person was born anywhere in the world has a healthy, happy life. All right. So still on the SDGs, it means that we need to reach this vision of the world without preventing future generations from also being able to meet their needs. So we need to be able to continue each action forever without running out of resources or causing damage that stops us from being able to carry on, right? So that's what sustainability development is all about. We need to basically fix the needs of now without hampering the ability of the next generation to fix their needs. So that is what sustainability is all about. So we need to find a balance. Striking a balance requires integrated approach that acknowledges the interconnectedness of environmental, economic, and social dimension. Solutions that prioritize one aspect at the expense of the other is unlikely to be sustainable in the long term. Achieving balance involves making trade-offs, reconciling conflicting interests, and seeking win-win opportunities. It requires collaboration, compromise, and creativity to find synergy and optimize outcomes across multiple domains. By embracing holistic strategies that addresses the triple bottom line of people, planet, and profit, societies can foster resilience, promote prosperity, and safeguard the planet for the future generation. In essence, finding the right balance involves harmonizing environmental protection, economic development, and social justice to create a more sustainable and resilient world. It requires collective action, visionary leadership, and commitment to forging a path towards a brighter future for all. So, in conclusion, climate change requires urgent action from all of us. Policies, technology serves as a powerful tool in mitigating and adapting to impact by harnessing renewable energy, improving energy efficiency, promoting electricity mobility, and leveraging technology advancements. We can make significant progress towards a sustainable future. Collaborative efforts by big corporations and people engagement further enhances our ability to combat climate change. Let us unite our efforts and take action to safeguard our planet for the future generations. So thank you for listening to me. You see my contacts there, chris.ekg@pluginnigeria.org. It's my phone number and of course my Twitter handle. So open to questions, just one or two, because our time is fast spent. Thank you so very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you very much. The last phrase, let us unite to save planet for our future generation. Thank you very much, Blogger Ice. Thank you for that amazing section. Quickly, just in the chat box, if you have message, please. Okay, let's use the indication of the golden and or the app. Anybody, if you have question, you need to ask. There's a part you don't understand, and you want to ask question. I would give chance for one or two to ask. Do I have anybody? Do I have anybody? I'm coming. Okay. If there's no question, you can just give me a signal. You can type good to go in the chat room so I could know we are all fine or well understood. Any of the two. I want to be sure there's no question. But if you do not have, please type well understood in the income message. And if you have, you can use the good in and on the Zoom app to indicate, then I would give you a chance to ask your question before we call it a night. I am waiting. Is it that we have question or we do not have? We must choose one. So if you have question, let's indicate. If not, type well understood in the chat box. Okay, good to go. Well understood. Thank you very much. It seems nobody. Okay, awesome. So thank you very much, Blogger Chris, for that insightful section. Then before we go, please let's listen to this announcement. It is an announcement and it is a form of beseeching us in this academy. Yeah, we really do not have open section tonight, so and I just want to give the announcement here so that once we leave, everybody would retire to bed. However, the last part of what I will send on the WhatsApp group tonight is going to be our assignment that we will use to on our switch tomorrow. So it's going to be a puzzle of the SDGs from 1 to 17. So what we need to do is we'll match up the number to the name of the goals on the left and on the right hand side. The instructions will be attached to the message. So for tomorrow's research on, what you do is you give us the assignment, then you put under research on. So that will be the format of tomorrow's assignment submission. Then the two information we have, then the first one is this. Tomorrow is Friday. So by virtue of the academy, we'll be having the presentation tomorrow. And the brief for the presentation has been sent to the group since yesterday. And I want to believe by now that everybody in each group are doing one or two to have a nice presentation. Just in case you do not know, in case you do not have any group that is presenting, that means it interprets that all members in the group will be evicted from the academy. That's just the meaning. And another thing to note is that your GSAM, your master, have the right to evict you if you do not cooperate with the member of the group, perhaps they give you a task and you do not do it, and maybe there's no prior information why you do not do it, showing careless attitude. If you are evicted because of that reason, yes, the master is not doing the wrong thing. So please, let's take note of that. So tomorrow, let's get ourselves ready to have a befitting presentation. And all of the things is on the brief. So let's just follow it accordingly as we hope to see tomorrow. That's one. Then two, I decided to answer this question here on Zoom app based on popular demand so that we will all know what it's at stake for us. Like I said, when at the entry, today is day 5 of day 7. So that means we really have 2 days to go for this academy. And I said, if this happens to be a physical school, would if they start calling you FYB by now, I don't think they are doing too much. So what I'm actually saying in essence is the format for submission of reports. I believe by now that we should have known some little details on how to submit. It still amazes me. I have to flag down so many reports because of simple details. Let me start by we even have some students that if did not even answer the question based on the task given to them. Their answers are off point. So that can interpret that they do not even read the question for them to answer. That's one. Then two, some the content of the answers are right for some, but there are little details that are missed in the answers, and it's part of the instruction. Please, we can do better. The GSAT reports on top, it has a format. Is it bold? Is it italic? Then the emoji attached to it. How do we need to arrange them? The way we write our name and our group, there's a format for everything. Please, we can do well to check the orientation guide to see the best way at which we can do those things. So those are the little details that make masters flag down our assignments, even if the content is correct. If the content is correct and those little details are not there, it's as good as the whole answer is is not correct. Let's just consider a student going to the exam hall without reading the instruction. The instruction is answered to because he knows everything, decide to answer all. If the student fail at the end, nobody is to he is to blame, not the lecturer. So please, we can do better. Let's try and do better. The next 2 days is still very long for us. And perhaps tomorrow's master might not be as light as I am. So please, let's let's do well and take note of those simple information, simple details as it will help us. So yes, we'll be closing the curtain for tonight's section. This is 2 minutes past 9. So we'll be closing the curtain for tonight's section. I wish you a very good night rest. And don't forget, this after this section, make sure you check the assignment on the group chat before you retire to bed finally. Thank you very much and have a sweet dream.